So, dear learners, in this particular video, we will be discussing about another topic that is software requirement document, which is very popularly known as SRS, that is software requirement specification document. So, this is one of the very essential document that every software industry is going to prepare whenever they will come up with to start a new project or new software development is concerned. Okay. So, normally this SRS, software requirement document, is an output of our first stage of our software process activities, that is software specification. So, once you are going to complete 100% defining all the requirements like functional requirements, non-functional requirements, then all the domain requirements. So, finally, you are going to come up with this particular document, and that document is called as what? Software requirement document. Okay. And this will be acting as an the main source and information related to the overall project is concerned, and most of our the rest of the part of design, implementation and testing, this particular document is going to be act as a very important input source. Clear? So, let us have a discuss about this particular document and its structure. Okay. So, the software requirement document. So, the first point is the software requirement document is the official statement of what is required of the system developers. So, basically the every system developers are going to depend on this software requirement document. Okay. So, every requirement in detail with technical perspective along with the necessary diagrams and each and every related information, every requirement will be defined in this particular document. So, which will be helpful for all the system developers to design and implement the actual functionalities and services that we are expecting from the software to be get developed. Okay. So, the second point is it should include both the definition of user requirements and a specification of the system requirements. So, both user requirements and system requirements will be clearly defined in this particular document, and it is not a design document basically. Okay. So, as far as possible it should set off what the system should do rather than how it should be done. Okay. So, here we are giving the importance for what should be what my software is supposed to do here. But okay. So, the document is not going to focus on how it should be done. Okay. So, coming to the next point. So, just have a look at there. There are variety of users for whom this particular requirement document will be very much useful, especially for the system customers, because they will be the end users who are supposed to use this particular software. So, for them it will be helpful to read and check how exactly their needs will be get matched, means fulfilled after development of the software is concerned. For that it will be helpful for the system customers, and the same document will be helpful for managers. So, managers in the sense it will be helpful for them to plan and for bidding, for contract purpose, okay, for financial aspects, and to monitor the overall system development process. For all these things, for the project managers are concerned, this document is very much useful. And for the system engineers, the system engineers means the people who are involved in the overall design and development of the overall software. Okay, for them, so this is very important document, because it will help them to understand what exactly the requirements that user is expecting, and what is to be get designed and developed. Okay. So, that they will come to know only after referring this requirement document. Okay. Then for system testing engineers is concerned. Okay. For them also this particular document is very much useful input, because system testing engineers are responsible for performing the validation. Okay. So, validation is nothing but what? Testing. So, either it may be system testing or acceptance testing. While doing all such kind of variety of testing, for all the testing engineers, this requirement document will be acting as a input. Okay. So, because when they will test the system, they will come to know that whether the requirements in terms of services and functionalities have been correctly implemented or not. So, that is possible for them to check with the help of this document as an input. Okay. And finally, for system maintenance engineers also, this document will act as a very important source to understand how the system has been developed earlier and what about the relationship between the different parts of the system. So, it will be helpful for system maintenance engineer, because normally what happens, once the software is get developed and it will be get deployed for the end users, so automatically the problems will arise. So, at that time the software has to undergo maintenance or evolution or modifications. So, at that time the people involved in that maintenance will be separate. See, normally the maintenance engineer will not be a part of the development team. Okay. See, most of the time what happens, software will be developed by somebody else and it will be maintained by somebody else. But whenever as a maintenance engineer, if he is supposed to make some corrections or some modifications or some servicing or any kind of the problem solving is concerned with that particular software, then he should also know that how exactly the system was developed. Okay, what are the actual original requirements. Okay. So, every knowledge that person should have, and this document will help that maintenance engineers to understand about what exactly the system was in the beginning. Clear. So, in this way this document will be helpful for the different sort of users, means the different variety of stakeholders who are directly or indirectly involved in the software development is concerned. Okay. Now, the very important topic, just have a look at there, the structure of this requirement document, means with what structure this requirement document is to be get prepared. So, it is just like as if you think of a report or just like a textbook, or it is just like a one big book, Bible, that they are going to come up with this document here. Always do remember. Okay. So, it's a very very big document in which a detailed information about the whole software project which is to be get developed, that everything will be recorded over here along with each and every requirement which has been defined as a part of that software development. Is it clear? So, that is why, just like as if whenever we will look into any textbook, every textbook is having its own structure. Okay. There will be the content, then there will be an abstract, introduction, then chapter, for every chapter there will be a summary, then questionnaires, okay, index, appendix, see there. So, just like the structure of whatever may be the textbook that we might be applying, the similar kind of a structure that we need to adopt for writing this or preparing this requirement document is concerned. Okay. So, there are different chapters that we need to include here. So, just have a look at there, we will go one by one very briefly. The first chapter of my requirement document should be a preface. Okay. Normally this preface is going to contains, so here we are going to define the expected readership of the document, means for whom this document has been kept. Okay. And what is the purpose of this document, what are the objectives, and about their history, and any previous version which is related or any new version which has been get released. So, everything will be get recorded over what in the preface. Why? Because normally every time when my software is undergo evolution or modified, whenever the software will come up with a new version, automatically this document will also be get updated. Normally that you might have observed in textbooks editions. See, for example, say whenever they are going to release for a new edition, say some 9th edition of software engineering, then automatically in the preface they used to mention what are the changes that the textbook has been made from 8th edition to 9th edition, what are the new additions have been taken place, what are the new chapters, new concepts. So, similarly here also that preface is going to contain all these things. Then the second chapter is introduction here. So, introduction part we are going to describe the need for the system or that need for the software. So, for what purpose the software is going to be get built, and also we will be describing the system functionalities. Okay. So, briefly how they will work with other systems. Why? Because we have already told software is not an independent component, it should work along with the other supporting applications, either it may be another software or it may be another hardware. So, that everything will be get explained over here. Then the third chapter is glossary. So here we will be defining an important technical terms which are used throughout this particular document is concerned. So that you might have observed in most of the documents and textbooks also. So the important glossaries means the wordings that will be get defined over in the very beginning itself. Okay. Then coming to the next chapters. Okay. So the next chapter is user defined requirement, means user requirement definition, that I have already discussed. So here it consists of the services that should be provided for the user by the software at the abstract level. Okay, that will be get defined in their own natural language and with the help of some diagrams or any kind of notations. So all the user requirement definition will be done over here in this particular chapter. Then a system architecture will be get defined here, and high level overview of diagrammatic representation where the system is going to be get shown along with its different parts. Why? Because once again the same thing, the software is not a single entity, a software is made up of different parts there, or any system is concerned. Then every part of the system is to be get shown, and their relationship that we can exhibit by drawing this system architecture or defining the system architecture. This should be a separate chapter. Then system requirement specification. See there, all our abstract level defined user requirements should be written under what? The system requirement specification, which are going to describe here. We will be defining the classification of the requirements like functional requirements, non-functional requirements, okay, and their details, everything, okay, and even the interface between one part to the another part, means they are called interface relationships, that requirements. So there are variety of requirement classification will be done over here, and that will be defined in detail, and these system requirement specifications are going to be very much helpful for the system developers. Clear? So then there will be another chapter called a system model. System models means actually these are the graphical representations here. So here normally what happens, whenever I will define the variety of functional and non-functional requirements in terms of system requirements. So every requirement should be get supported with some graphical notations, that is graphical system models. So which will helpful for the developers as well as the users and managers for the better understanding of how the system should be get developed. Okay, what exactly the system working nature. So that will be very much helpful for to analyze and understand the system in a better way. So, okay, so there are variety of different graphical representations are there, especially they are called UML diagrams also, like the object models are there, data flow models are there, okay, activity diagrams are there, subsystem models. So like that there are variety of different system models will come across, that we will be studying in a separate chapter. Okay. And even if you try to recall in our insulin pump structure, that example case study, we discussed one activity diagram there. So how exactly that insulin pumping system is going to work. Okay, that is one type of diagram which will depict that how exactly that particular system is going to work. So similarly here also, that is the usefulness of what? The system model. System models will always helpful for the better understanding of the requirements, and always do remember one thing, okay, a picture is worth more than 1000 words, always remember, okay, rather than simply explaining the things in terms of paragraph or in some language in written format. If you show it or with the help of some diagram or picturization, so it will be more effective always. Clear? Then the next chapters are that is system evolution. So it will be a separate chapter. So here we are going to describe about the assumptions on which the system is going to be based, and tomorrow how the system is going to be get evolved or what changed. See there, till now actually the system is not yet developed actually, but before the development of the system itself, you should have a well planned and your assumptions. Tomorrow if you develop this software, okay, then when it will be get evolved and how it will be get evolved and because of what reason, that imagination you should have, okay. So that should be get explained under what the system evolution is concerned. Then last but one chapter, that is appendix. So you know that as usual in most of the textbook also. So, sometimes the appendix always consists of some supporting information which will be helpful for the understanding of the actual content of the document. So, that will be covered under what this appendix. So, in case of the requirement document is concerned, sometimes we may need to understand more about the other softwares and hardware devices, their description. So, all these things will be, and even database description, is it clear, hardware requirements. So, all such extra information which are needed, that will be covered under what the appendix is concerned, and the document is going to be ended with the last chapter, that is index. So, index consists of what there are a variety of indexing methods that you can use. So, there are several indexes to the document may be included, either it may be a normal alphabetic index, or a index of diagrams, or index of what the functions. So, like that, as per your requirement, you can put that index, which will be helpful for the user to search for a specific topic and any keyword is concerned. Okay. So, these are all the different chapters that should be included as a part of what the structure of software requirement document, which is very popularly known as that is SRS. Okay. So, please do remember this the overall structure of that SRS. Thank you.